All right, there we go. Finally set up, guys. So what's going on? 908 Big Smoke here, and what a stressful setup for this first official podcast. Webcam settings I was trying to get better quality, especially with the audio, because I feel like nobody really cares too much about what I'm doing here. It's really just to hear me talking about certain things, and although I guess we're going to do a beer review tonight, so people want to see that and see the beer and everything like that, but I was just having a really difficult time with the settings and getting them, to switch back to the default settings. Excuse me 1 second. Sitting on my lighter. Just really annoying there for a minute. Just try to get that whole thing set up. So without another pause here, let's pour up our grapefruit juice into our little shot of gin that's been sitting here for 20 minutes while I've been trying to get this stupid webcam set up. I look a little bit better here. The audio, it's going to be iffy. I'm going to watch this over and then we'll see how it looks after I'm done. And we'll see if we need to refilm it or not. Hopefully not, because I finally got it to look pretty decent, at least when I just did a couple little test runs. So hopefully we'll be able to get this going and get it to look good. So I got my little list here. This time I'm going to try and be a little bit more organized with the podcast. It's still, within the beginning stages here, so nothing's going to be perfect. Basically, what I want to start out the podcast with, I'm going to do it every week. I'm thinking about every Sunday night I'm going to upload it, and then I'll film it, whichever day of the week, but probably during the weekend at some point when I have a little extra free time. And the first thing we're going to talk about in the podcast every week is like a recap of my day and recap of my week. And hopefully eventually we can do these live, maybe in a year or so, if we'll get enough people actually watching them. Very good. This is good stuff right here. Sparkling grapefruit soda. So for that, we'll get started. The intro, daily update, what I did today. Now on the Test Run podcast I filmed on Friday, I mentioned that I was having kind of a bad day, just not really the best time for me. Just a lot of different stuff going on. I'm doing better now. Got a real easy kind of weekend, at least Saturday. Didn't really do much. Did a little bit of outside work and then kind of just came back here and relaxed for most of the day. Had a friend visit from Colorado, so I got to spend a little bit of time with him, see him for a little bit, and just relax. And then, of course, today is Sunday. Back on the grind, so I went to work this morning at around 11 o'clock. Did some deliveries today. Actually, delivered food to a bunch of people, made some really good tips actually, made probably almost $100 in tips just today, not including my hourly pay, so that's always good. Always puts a smile on your face when you make a good amount of money, right? So yeah, worked, at my job, drove around, ended up getting pulled over this morning. Like by a cop that I actually know that comes into my job all the time. So he let me go. It's just I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, which is a really stupid habit of mine, just because I'm in the car all the time and it's just more comfortable for me to not wear it. Very stupid, I know, and selfish, I know, and I got to really start trying to wear it. It's just almost second nature to me now to just not even put it on after so many years of not using it. Really stupid, I know, and I'm going to make this at a point this week to start wearing it, because I have actually gotten two seatbelt tickets this year in 2018 alone, and I've been pulled over for no seatbelt about 5 times this year alone, which is really not good. Now, even though I do smoke, I never smoke and drive anymore, and I never have anything in the car, so I don't have anything to worry about. I absolutely never drink and drive, ever. Never a good idea to do that. So yeah, I got off of that ticket. It was probably the shortest amount of time I've ever been pulled over. Cop was at my car in like 5 seconds, gave him my, insurance, registration, and my license, and he was back within another 20 seconds, telling me, okay, get to where you're going, buckle up, blah, blah, blah. I told him thank you, told him sorry, I'm always screwing up with the seatbelt, didn't seem to care about my apology, kind of just walked back to the car and let me go on my way. So then I'm driving around today and I'm thinking, I keep passing this place. One of the places I do outside work for, like I cut the lawn and do weed whacking and trimming and stuff like that. I'm actually helping somebody I know fix up a place to turn it into a store. And I was driving around that area today on one of my deliveries, and I passed by a little park that I always see, a little nature preserve. Kind of still in town, but on the outskirts of town where it starts to get more towards the woods. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go there today after work and finally check it out, because I've passed it so many times, especially within the last couple of months since I've been working up near that area. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go to Starbucks, I'll get myself a coffee. I'm pretty tired. I stayed up real late last night. I go to sleep till about 4:30 in the morning, maybe 5. And I got woken up a couple times by my cat trying to get in my room. So I said, yeah, you know what, I'll go to Starbucks. I'll get one of these grapefruit things that I like so much that they have there. And I'll get a nice coffee, and then I'll go up there and walk around a little bit. And I didn't know that they had such an extensive system of trails there. I went over there, I'm thinking, this is in town, I'm thinking it's going to be some dinky, like, just, maybe 1 mile, no, one trail, or not even, just to straight in and then walk right back, no loop. And to my surprise, it was a pretty extensive series of trails, about 3 miles, nothing big or anything. Like, I usually go hiking somewhere it's about 7 miles, or even upwards of 13, 14, all the way around. But so I did a little hike. I didn't have too much time because I wanted to get back here and actually cut my lawn and do some chores around the house and stuff like that. So I went for about an hour. Actually, not even, probably about 40 minutes. Walked around, had my coffee, brought a little pen out there with me, and hit that a couple times, and then ended up going back home and doing some work. Then I'm sitting on the lawnmower thinking, I love doing that podcast. I watched it over, the one that I did the test run, and I said, you know what, I'm doing another one tonight. I'll write everything down, so I got a little list here of my topics and stuff like that. So now we're on the intro and reviewing what we're going to talk about. So that was my intro of what I was doing today. And the week has been pretty much the same kind of thing, despite the hiking. It's the only hike I really went on this week. It wasn't really a hike, it's more just a walk. But just been working outside and working my regular job, guys. That's really what it's all about for me in the summer until about late September. When October comes up, which is my birthday and Halloween, my favorite time of year usually. So what are we going to talk about tonight? I have next on my list Roll Dutch, but I'll get to that. That's just a personal note for me. We're going to be doing some movie talk. There's one movie that I wanted to talk about that I watched a few weeks ago, or actually I'd say probably about a month ago at this point, that I really enjoyed. There's another movie that I started watching last night that I'm like a little bit iffy on, but I'm still going to finish it probably tonight. I'm going to show you guys a couple, one movie that I was talking about in the last podcast just to kind of show you, and then I'll was going to do another topic I wanted to do on this podcast like every week is showing you guys like the movies that I picked up. I didn't pick up any movies this week, but I got one last week, so I'll show you guys that. And then we're going to get into our beer review. And after the beer review, we're going to talk about upcoming plans for the channel for this week and everything, or for the next couple weeks. Then we'll do a recap and we'll wrap it up here. Probably be about an hour, depending on how long this blunt burns for. So speaking of rolling my blunt, so we got a Dutch Master cigar. Most people on the West Coast probably don't even know what the hell this is. These are real big on the East Coast, especially New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, It's basically like a cheap, I think they're like $2.20, really cheap cigar that I will be taking all the tobacco out of and rolling it. And we also have a special treat because earlier yesterday I got my hands on some AFGU live resin, I believe it is. Very heavy indica. I haven't even tried it yet. We got a gram of it there. Very good price on this too, I must say. Didn't cost me much at all, and it looks pretty good. So we'll try that out. We'll smear some of that on there savagely, and then we'll get started with our blunt, smoking our blunt. So yeah, while we roll the blunt up, sorry for the pausing and stuff. We'll get this started here. Some of you guys are probably thinking, oh my God, he smokes cigarettes and blunts. I know. I know. These are very different than normal blunts. You can roll them like normal blunts where you split them down the middle. But the Jersey way, the tri-state way, that most people roll them around here. Watch me fuck this up right now on camera. No, I'm not going to. I've rolled thousands of these in my lifetime. I've actually even rolled one blindfolded before. I know it's kind of ridiculous, but I actually have. So you take the outer leaf off like this, and you kind of peel off the little end pieces because you don't really want them. And then you're left with this inner leaf. So we're going to take the cancer paper off of here, the glue, pieces of glue that are on here. Then we're going to find our crease. And I got a long thumbnail just for doing this, literally. I'm not joking. So I could split these things easily, not break them in half. My garbage is over there, so we're just going to gut this on the table. Fuck it. We're going to rip the other glue strip off. Right like that. Garbage. And now you're left with something that's huge. I've actually rolled like a 1/4 ounce in one of these things before. So we're not going to roll a 1/4 ounce blunt. So we are going to rip this down and make it smaller. And we'll go like this. We're probably going to roll like 1.5 grams. And then we're going to put some oil on here too. Take a look at this. Some live resin. AFGU. A strain I'm kind of familiar with. I don't really know too much about it. This is like pretty, live resin is always kind of not very stable until it butters out. I was trying to let this butter out earlier today. I left it open, but it didn't really do too much. Then again, I've only had it for like 1 day, so it's not poop soup. It's just for like bad oil, BHO. It's just live resin. It's supposed to be that consistency, kind of soupy. Live resin is what they make when they take the plant when they harvest the plant, and just they don't cure it at all. They just literally will blast it or whatever, with BHO or CO2, and they'll just do that right when they harvest, or maybe like a day or so after. They won't let the weed cure out at all, and it's supposed to give it more flavor. It usually does, although sometimes it could be mismarked. I'm not in a legal state, so who knows if this is AFGU or not, but I have had AFGU a few times, oil, and it does smell like it, so we'll see. I'll know when I taste it, probably, because AFGU usually has a real earthy, kind of like piney taste to it. All right, that should be good. And we're gonna roll some OG. I'm an indica type of person. I usually like smoking indica. Sativa's all right, like if you're hiking with like a big group of people or something, but if I smoke it by myself, it doesn't make me paranoid, but it makes me a little bit anxious and on edge sometimes, especially if it's a strong one. But for those of you who know, a lot about weed, most pure sativas are extremely hard to come by, and if you can find a land-raised sativa, it's most likely going to be very expensive, and it's not even going to look like too much of a good bud. It's going to look more a pure sativa. It's an old school strain, stuff like Thai, or I believe what's the other one? There's only like 8 of them, like pure sativas, because everything's been crossed so many times. But most people don't really want to hear about weed on here. I apologize for going on a tangent there about that. Doesn't interest everybody. I'm known for my beer reviews here, so I'm not even going to tell you what we're going to review for our beer yet. I'm going to leave that a surprise. It's in there getting cold, and once we're done with this blunt, we'll probably just get right to reviewing it. So yeah, movie talk, movie-wise. Last night I was watching a movie I believe it's like pretty new, either 2015 or so, or maybe even newer, I forget, called The Disappointments Room. I started watching it and I got pretty into it. The characters aren't the most likable. The main character didn't really feel too much for. She's like this architect lady who's kind of like stuck up, kind of like a bitch. Her husband is kind of, I got a kick out of in the movie because he's kind of just like riding her, I don't know what the term is, her heels or whatever. Just kind of like, she's the moneymaker, and he kind of just sits back with the son and just fucks around all day. And one lady was asking him what he does, and he's like, in between my naps. That's pretty funny. I need to find me a girl like that. He was like, I like playing Xbox and stuff like that. But basically, it's about this architect who, she moves into a house. I guess they're going to redo it. I don't know if they're planning on actually moving in there, or it's going to take some time. There's a lot of stuff that's messed up, leaky roofs, stuff everywhere in the yard. But so they go, and she's fascinated by it. She finds, of course, a room that she can't unlock, and immediately tries to get in there. She ends up getting locked in there, but then she ends up not getting locked in there. She just randomly ends up back in her kitchen and starts freaking out, and her husband's like, "Oh, you've been in here the whole time, blah blah blah." Typical kind of thing. Doesn't really make any sense. But I just went with it, and then I stopped watching it probably with about a half an hour left, right as it started to get good, to be honest, because I started to get bored with it. Happens to me a lot of times with newer movies. With older movies, I can usually sit through them all the way. But when it comes to that, I'll probably finish watching it tonight, just because I only have 30 minutes left. Probably not even, because that's including the credits. So I'll probably finish watching it and see how it ends. It was interesting. The concept is kind of fucked up. I guess The Disappointments Room is like back in the early 1900s, or maybe it was late 1800s, I forget. People that would have kids with physical deformities, or if they were had some kind of mental issue. I'm guessing stuff like Down syndrome or Asperger's or something like that. They would just literally just leave them in a room and have a maid or whatever kind of tend to them, and they would just live out their whole life in there until they would either die or escape, or one of the parents would kill them, I guess. Really messed up, the concept, but it wasn't really that scary. At least the stuff that they did was kind of typical in the movie. It seemed like it was going to go in a more original direction, and then around the end of the movie, it started to kind of, where I stopped watching it, it started to seem like it was going in that typical direction of a movie like this. That it involves mental, patients or mental hospital same type of vibe, and it was like they were going to go for that same twist. So we'll see later tonight, I guess, when I finish watching it. But it was all right. But that's another one that I was watching on. I guess it was on Netflix. All right. Let's light up my blunt here. Didn't roll too big one. Actually, probably didn't even roll 1 gram, but fuck it. Don't need to be getting too high right now. It's still early. Excuse me. Just had a really good dinner too. I just ate some real good Italian food, like egg battered chicken with penne, sun-dried tomatoes, prosciutto, mozzarella cheese. Really good. Really, really good. From a great Italian place, local place that I've been to many times. So that was good. So nice and full now. All right. Yeah, I can taste that oil. That might be coughing here soon. I apologize for that. I know the coughing's annoying. Even when I was watching the video over, I was like, oh my God, that's so loud. I'm just dying in a couple of these parts, you know? I really can't help it though. It's from smoking cigarettes for so long and just, I don't know, air pollution in the state and all sorts of other stuff. So, disappointment room. Okay, but a little bit disappointing when I got towards the end. So I'll finish watching it tonight. Maybe it'll turn around and I'll have a different opinion on it. The ending is really good. But another movie that I watched about a month ago that was my favorite movie I've watched all year. It's another movie from 2015. Yeah, I loved Hush, the movie I was talking about in the last podcast, but I saw this before, about a month before, and thought it was great. And it's another movie that I watched the trailer, and I thought, wow, this looks good. But it looks like it's going to be a little bit, artsy, artsy fartsy or whatever. Shot in black and white, and I'm sure you guys probably know what I'm talking about by now if you're a fan of horror. It's a movie called Darling. Forget the main actress in it. Lauren Ashley Carter, I believe her name is. Who the quote on for the movie was great. She said that she's the Audrey Hepburn of modern horror. She almost kind of reminds me of Audrey Hepburn too, but it was probably just because this movie was shot in black and white. Really great. Thought it was fantastic, actually, like 10 out of 10. Some people didn't like it from the reviews that I read. Thought it was a little pretentious, a little bit predictable. It was a little bit predictable, but I don't mind that because the movie wasn't really going in that direction. It was more of an art film, and a lot of the shots in the movie were spectacular, black and white, but you could still, I was paying attention to the movie just like I would any other movie. The lack of color, didn't do anything. If anything, it made it better. Some great scenery in it and some great content, some stuff that I really enjoyed watching, especially the bar scene I thought was really funny. When she's like going to the bathroom and fucking freaking out and then coming out, she's like, okay, let's go back to my apartment. I'm like, oh my God. Like, that type of stuff probably does really happen. So, I know it does actually. But basically the movie's about a woman who is assigned to house sit. Jesus, my blood went out already. A house in New York City that's supposed to be really, it's very expensive, huge house. I guess it's kind of like a brownstone or whatever. I don't know exactly the term. My sister would know. She's been living in New York for a few years. But I have no idea. Really, really big brick house, probably like 3 floors. And she doesn't know it at the time. But she ends up finding out later that it's a maid who was there actually, she had killed herself by jumping off one of the balconies. And once she figures this out, she begins to spiral out of control. But there's a lot of things that lead up to this, and a lot of really interesting stuff going on with the camera in this movie. Really cool shots. The cinematography is great. Really interesting. Some of the like there was one scene towards the very beginning of the movie where she's just walking around the house, and she sees like all these fancy. I forget what they're called. They put the whiskey in them, the old, the glass kind of decorative bottles. She sees all of them, and she just immediately. It was funny. It reminded me of me if I was house sitting in one of these houses. If I saw some expensive like cognac or something, which is like my favorite kind of liquor, I would go for it in a second. And she's pouring up a cup like the first 5 minutes that she's there, lighting up a cig and just walking around exploring the house. Like, it reminded me of some shit, exactly what I would probably do. You know, so I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, great, absolutely great movie. It's one that I don't want to go too into because I think people should really watch it. A little bit predictable, like I said, but I think that for the visual aspect of it, it's worth every penny. You can almost just watch this movie on mute as a silent film. And there's not very much dialogue in the movie, but you can almost watch it as a silent film and it would still be great. The music in it is really good too. Some really good music. Old school, kind of like 30s and 40s kind of sounding music in it, but it's probably new music, alternative or indie, whatever. Ooh. Yeah, this was. I can taste it. It tastes good. Very strong. I roll blunts like this all the time, but I haven't in about a month, maybe like a couple weeks with the oil actually smeared on the paper like this. So this is going to be a tough one to get through. I could already feel the coughing coming on. I really apologize about that, guys. I'm going to try and do something about that for the next podcast. Maybe take some cough drops or something beforehand. I already ate some Tums before, but it doesn't seem to help my cough. It just helps my heartburn a little bit. Love the blunts, man. Smoke joints too, but almost never really. I used to smoke a lot more joints, but something about the tobacco with it, the blunt, just extra tobacco, right? I'm gonna smoke a cigarette right after this thing is done. But real talk, movie talk, Darling. I thought it was great. I give it a 10 out of 10. I know people are gonna hate on me for that because it is predictable. I mean, I predicted where the movie was kind of going to go, like almost halfway through, but it doesn't matter because it was just such an eye candy, visual treat to watch. And the main actress did a great job. She's good, and she's also very pretty. So it's great to look at her throughout the movie. Some shower scene too, just in case you're wondering. Definitely worth it for that aspect as well. But basically, yeah, I thought it was amazing. Great movie. Liked it more than Hush. Not very much more, but I did like it more. It was a little bit more up my alley content-wise. Home invasion movies I tend to not really like too much, particularly kind of because it really scares me. But Hush I thought was great, but it just scares me a lot because I've had quite a few people that I know have their house broken into. And a couple of them got hurt in the process. And, it's always something that I kind of, fear because there's a lot of people from, way back in the day that, I've had problems with who aren't in the best place right now. So it's something that I always kind of, really do not try to watch too many of those movies because they really kind of freak me out. The Strangers was one, not the new one that they came out with, the one that came out in, what was it, like, 2011 or something like that. That movie really scared the shit out of me when it came out. Oh, that was a scary one. I actually got to pick that one up on Blu-ray. I only have the DVD of it. But that one screwed me up when it first came out. Really bad. Really bad. But, okay, so now that we've talked about our two movies, I'm telling you, this is so much easier to have this written down. So my mind isn't going all over the place. I just wanted to show you guys here, and I'll come a little bit closer so you guys can see this. From the last podcast, I was talking about the Shining. This is the snapper case one that I got in probably like 2006 that I still have. The very old edition. Take a look at the back there. You can't really see it too well. I apologize, but there you go. These are pretty cool. These snapper cases, actually. I have a couple other ones. I think I have one of the Matrix, like the first Matrix, that is in one of these snapper cases. And I think I also have a snapper case Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You know, the original one with Gene Wilder. I forget if it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but Tim Burton's. I mean, that one sucked. That was a terrible movie. Tim Burton's okay, but I don't understand why he is so obsessed with Johnny Depp. Though I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. But like how he's just in all of his movies, you know. But it's a little weird. I don't want to bash him, but just a little bit weird. It's like branch out a little bit, you know. But I'm in no place to say. He's a millionaire and he's made a lot of money. But when we're talking about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, it was an atrocity. Even worse was his adaptation to Alice in Wonderland. I mean, compared to the original cartoon, it's like, nobody is watching that one. The original Disney cartoon is great, great. But actually, when I was in high school, I somehow finagled my teacher to let me watch that for 2 days worth of class because I told her I was doing a book report on it or whatever. And she's like, "You've seen the movie?" I'm like, "No, I've never seen the movie. I've seen the movie like 10 times. She's like, "Okay, you can watch it in class." So I'm just sitting there in class, like watching Alice in Wonderland, like probably going to the back to like smoke or something, going to the bathroom or whatever. What a shit. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you guys that. Like I said, my friend's mom got me that way back, and this copy of The Shining is probably like one of the first horror movies I've ever gotten. And for the movie that I got for this week, or last week, I guess I didn't get anything this week. But like I said on the podcast, I'm gonna talk about the movies that I got the week of the podcast. Whatever I got in the mail, or I'm sorry, excuse me, guys. If I had went to Walmart and picked anything up, or Best Buy or whatever, or someone dropped me off. So my friend dropped me off a few movies the other day that he found at a garage sale just for free. I was like, that was pretty cool. This wasn't one of them though. I actually got this from Amazon, and this is the Willys from the '90s. There, I forget what year it came out. It just has the DVD release out here. I think it's from the '90s. I'm pretty sure, like 1993 or something like that. And I watched this on YouTube because I had never seen it, and I'd always seen the cover for it all the time. And I was like, I didn't realize it was an anthology, and I usually like the anthology movies. And so I checked this out, and I thought it was really good. Very funny, especially like the backstory. There's one scene in this movie that really grossed me out, though. If you guys have ever seen it, I'm sure you probably know which one I'm talking about. But there's one scene that really, really grossed me out. I don't mind bugs like in real life. But when I see people like eating them or something like that happening, it just sets something off in my brain that just makes me want to puke. When I see stuff like that, 'cause I'm around bugs all the time for my job. But it's not like I'm all up in their face. There's thousands of them, oh, God, disgusting. I remember when I was younger, flipping around channels and seeing Fear Factor, and I'd flip it and see Fear Factor was on, I'd change it real quick because I'd get so grossed out by that shit. Oh my God, the bugs, anything like eating bugs or bugs all around you, or, oh God, it just grosses me out. Even those CGI bugs in King Kong gross me out. Jesus, that's bad. Those things don't even look real at all. But whatever. But yeah, anthology movie from the '90s. It's like horror comedy. It's a PG-13 rated movie, so you're not going to get anything too insane. But they definitely pushed the boundary a little bit on this one. Some really cheesy effects and really stupid characters in this movie, like the bullies in the first short, are really just so annoying. It's like, wow, I'm so surprised that these guys haven't gotten their asses kicked by somebody yet, But, excuse me. Yeah, good movie. Really good to kind of make some popcorn, just throw on. Not have to fully pay attention to it and kind of, just relax, smoke some tree to it. Another thing I forgot to mention about Darling that I really liked about it also is it was not very long. It's like an hour and 15 minutes or some shit like that. Not long at all. And it definitely flew by. But yeah, not long. I don't like when movies are super long, especially horror films, unless they're like really, really insanely good. But for this kind of movie, the Darling it was better than it was shorter for sure. Especially with the black and white, it would get to you after a while. But yeah, so we talked about our two movies. I think it's about time we go get this beer and start reviewing it. We're right on track here. It looks like we've been going for right around 35 minutes. By the time we're done reviewing our beer, we'll probably be right around the 1 hour mark, which is where I want to be. Especially for when these first few podcasts that I'm doing, when I'm still kind of getting used to it. I feel like I'm doing a little bit better than the one I did the other night, except for maybe with the coughing, but that's probably my own fault because I just put a bunch of oil in this thing. But it's oiler, you know. But yeah. So what's we got next? Start smoking blunt since we did that. Check. Beer review. So let's go get this beer, man. Hopefully it's not frozen. It's been there for quite a while, and then we'll get to reviewing it. I haven't mentioned what it is yet, and I've tried it once. And I'm a little bit iffy on it. That's why I kind of wanted to do this one, because I'm kind of like, I want to talk a little bit of shit about it, but at the same time, it wasn't like half bad. And I'm kind of in the mood for it right now, especially after this grapefruit thing. So I will be right back. Whoa, I don't want that to happen. All right, be right back, guys. All right, we're back. And the beer for tonight, it's going to be something a little bit unusual. Got Tropicana Heavy Seas Citrus IPA. There we go. Independent craft, certified independent, certified fresh. Best by December 18, so... Got it fresh. Actually, I think this is like a new release. I've never seen this one released before until I got it yesterday. So, or actually Friday, I think I got it. But I've only had one or two of them. So, and one of them I didn't even finish because it got warm, and these beers when they're warm are pretty disgusting. But all right, we're gonna take a couple more hits off this blunt. Then we're going to put it out, and we're going to get to reviewing the beer, because I don't want us to be smoking and reviewing beer at the same time. Even though I've already had this, I just feel like that's kind of like just a little too much. So take a few hits of this guy. Pop the cherry out. All right. Let's get to reading the description. Like I said, Best by December 10th, 18. Born near the harbor of Baltimore and raised in the spirit of exploration, Heavy Seas has been independently brewed since 1995. We strive to craft brews that capture your sense of adventure, fearless, bold, independent. Put the wind at your back and enjoy the heavy seas. Okay, no description of the actual beer on the back here, but they have it on the top. So, the Unbound... Oh my God, I don't even want to read this. It sounds cheesy as hell. The Unbound Wanderer with a sense of humor. Wanderer? It looks like it's spelled weird. The Unbound Wanderer with a sense of adventure. A refreshingly fruity, citrusy twist on the American IPA. Its bold citrus flavor will set you adrift in a tropical paradise. It's so weird. Wanderer, it's like, it's spelled right, but it like is misprinted on here. I like misread it. I was like, what the hell does that say? So yeah, citrus IPA. There's a lot of these kind of beers out here, but this one's a little bit different, and you'll soon see why. 7.25% alcohol by volume, so a little bit stronger than your average IPA, but not by much. Baltimore, Maryland. Okay, we got blood orange, grapefruit zest, other natural flavor. and I see some oranges and like lemons and shit on there. All right, all aboard. Oh man, it's so weird that they. I had to get that one out. Okay, that they have this called Tropicana because it literally smells like orange juice. Like it almost smells identical to like ice cold orange juice. I'm telling you. And it's kind of like, are they trying to make fun of Tropicana? Like when I first saw that, I was like, are they like really trying to do something like that? Like that'd be kind of weird because this is such an independent company to take that kind of risk. But I don't think they could really get in trouble for it. But I'm kind of just joking around. But it smells literally like orange juice. It doesn't smell like anything else. Let's smell it when we have it poured up. I got my Magic Hat number 9 glass here, like I've had for almost every review. See if we can generate some head here. There we go. Like 1 finger ahead, maybe a little bit more. Again, just orange juice, like Sunny D almost, like that smell that like Sunny D has. Like, oh, it's so weird. It literally doesn't smell like beer or any hops like at all. It just smells like straight up orange. Like Sunny D or even like Orange Crush or something like that. That is so weird. Very weird. The color is pretty normal for your IPA. It looks a little bit on the orange side again, more orange, but a little darker, I guess. It is 7.25, but yeah, a little bit darker, I guess, than your normal IPA. It might be just a tiny shade lighter than this. So I love that this glass has like the drink me on it. It's so cool. Kind of like an Alice in Wonderland. So we smelled it. We've already had the beer, but this is probably the freshest I've drank, the coldest I've drank one of these. It's almost ice cold right now. So cheers. Let's try it out. Tropicana, Citrus IPA, Heavy Seas. And definitely better like ice cold. Just overwhelmingly orange. So much orange. Almost no hop flavor. You can taste a little bit of that bitterness after you finish swallowing the beer that leaves it in your mouth, but I don't know. Very little. I don't even think they mention hops on here at all. They just say IPA. They don't mention anything about hops. It's just all citrus, which this beer definitely is. The hops are like almost just not there at all. It's just all fruit flavor. To be honest, I almost can't taste any grapefruit either. It's really just all orange. It really is. It tastes like almost like orange juice or like a strong Sunny D, a spiked Sunny D. You could taste the alcohol in there, but these would be dangerous, man. Especially if you. So now here's where I'm going in here. Like I'm not a huge orange juice fan. I'm really not. I never really have been. I'm more of a cranberry juice kind of person. I don't mind orange flavored soda. I guess orange Fanta sometimes I'll get once in a while at work from the fountain. But like, or orange cream soda I enjoy too, but that's more that creamy kind of flavor, vanilla kind of flavor. This is like straight up orange, like Sunny D or Tropicana. It literally smells just like Tropicana or Sunny D. Just like it. These, if you like orange flavored stuff, I mean, these would be dangerous at 7.25%. They go down pretty easily, guys. Very fruity. Very fruity. Just so much citrus. I mean, this like, this beer, like, it puts like they make Shock Top just look like a bitch, or like Blue Moon with their orange flavor that they put in it. This just tastes like there's literally fresh squeezed oranges in here. It tastes a little of the grapefruit. Almost tastes more pineapple-y than grapefruit, to be honest. But I can taste a little bit of it. Maybe it's just residual effects in my mouth from this grapefruit thing. But probably not. But yeah, you know, it's all right. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of orange, but this is very different. It almost doesn't even taste like an IPA at all. It really almost doesn't even taste like beer. It tastes like beer, but it's just the orange flavor of the citrus is like so overwhelming that it almost just reminds me of Sunny D. To be honest with you, it really does. With some alcohol in it, of course. You can taste the alcohol. But yeah, these would be dangerous for somebody who really enjoyed these. You can down these things pretty quick. And it's 7.25. 3 of these, and you're not going to be able to drive anywhere. You'll be fucked. Or 6-pack of them, you're going to be, you better have a place to crash, because these things are strong. So for a rating on these, let me take one more sip. I like it a little bit more now. And this is, I think, my second. I have a 6-pack over here. Let's see how many I have left. I got 3 left, so this is my 3rd one. But like I said, one of them I only drank half of it and then poured it out. I was already kind of a little bit drunk when I drank it, so I don't really remember that one. First one I tried, I was like, oh my god, this is like just so fruity, Like, holy shit, this is weird. And I kind of almost regretted buying them because they were the only IPAs that I bought for Friday night. And I was like, man, I should have gotten something else. And now that I'm drinking it again, I'm going to enjoy the last 3. I'm really struggling to come up with a rating here on this. I mean, I was going to go C, but I might just go low B now because it is pretty different. We're going to go low B. We'll go with an 82 on this one. You know what? Fuck it. We'll go with the 83. I like it more now. Just extreme on the orange. Real extreme. If you're not a fan of real citrus flavored things, it doesn't taste like a citrus IPA. It really doesn't. It's so heavy on that fruit aspect that you can't even really compare it to like a grapefruit Sculpin, Ballast Point, or I'm trying to think of another one. I mean, they have a few variations of that, but I'm trying to think of another beer, like another IPA, fruit-based IPA. I know Flying Dog has a blood orange one or something like that. Stuff that just highlights the fruit flavor for IPAs. Different IPAs that have this grapefruit IPA, pineapple IPA, even like Sierra Nevada, like Sidecar. This actually reminds me of Sidecar a little bit now that I'm thinking of it. It definitely does, but this is way, way more fruity. So yeah, we're going to go with 83. Almost mid B, almost B average, a little bit on the low B. Because just for me, in my opinion, it's just a little too much fruit. And I think for everybody else, they're going to see IPA, they're going to want to taste those hops. And I can barely taste any at all, guys. So that's why we're giving it that low B score. It's a little bit on the aftertaste, but almost nothing. It is all fruit. So with that being said, we're through our beer review. Tropicana Citrus IPA by Heavy Seas. We gave it an 83 out of 100. Some points on it, just super, super citrusy, not a lot of hops. If you don't like orange, definitely don't buy it. Those are the 3 things I could say about it right there. Don't know if this is available everywhere. I guess they're from Maryland, and I am on the East Coast, only like 4 hours away from Maryland. So I don't know if these are available on the West Coast at all. Who knows? But I've tried a couple other of their beers. Wasn't really a fan of them. This is probably my favorite one out of all the ones I've tried. Can't really remember the other ones. But one of them was their most popular one. It's like purple. It's got a purple label. Purple drag. No. But okay, with that being said, yeah, beer review out of the way. And I love having this here so I could just kind of reference it. In the future, I'll probably just have this on my computer so you won't see me looking down at it all the time trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. But because I'm telling you, sometimes, guys, I'm all over the place, especially at this point. It's like 11:15 at night. This is actually my second beer of the day. 1 cup. So I'm not really planning on drinking too much tonight. Probably have one more beer and we'll call it a night. But I do have to work tomorrow. So talk about channel plans. All right, so channel plans coming up. I want to do a hiking video this week. I kind of want to do a hiking video of where I was at today, because it's almost like in town, but it's so crazy because it's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like that's what she said, but it's so much bigger than like I thought. Initially, when I looked at the trail map, I was like, holy shit, this is like honestly like pretty extensive trails. Like there's like 5-6 different trails. I'm like, damn, like I gotta check them out. You know, I'm here all the time. I work literally 2 minutes down the road. So I'm like, damn, I'm gonna explore these. So I might even go back there tomorrow and just do another little quick hike if I have the time in between my first job and when my second one starts up. So yeah, we'll probably do a hiking video. I want to do an official beer review because I haven't put one out in a month since the Founders one. I was actually thinking of doing like a comparison of Founders Double Trouble versus Flying Dog the Truth, which I've never reviewed, but it's like one of my favorite beers, Imperial IPA. But I want to do something different because we just talked about the Double Trouble. So maybe down the line, maybe even like when Double Trouble is not available anymore, we'll just pull it out and just do it, like fuck it. Do the comparison video when everyone else is like, I don't have any more Double Trouble lying around. Nah, I still got it in the vault, Alright. Yeah, so upcoming vids, yeah, we'll do a beer review. I'm thinking I'll drop some knowledge maybe here if anyone stays to listen to this whole thing for what my next beer review is going to be. I think I might review something real popular, so I might go with, I think I have something over here. I might go with 60-minute IPA, Dogfish Head. We might review that. Or maybe we'll review like Ballast Point or something like that. Kind of want to review something like real popular just to see if I could get some more views on one of the reviews. If I talk about something that's kind of like, not so popular. Like I'm not going to review Bud Light. I hate Bud Light, to be honest with you. But just do something that the IPA people and everybody in that scene knows about, to try and see if I could get a few more people to subscribe to my channel and check everything out. Even though it doesn't really matter to me, I would like to know that somebody's watching or liking the videos, just so I know. So if you guys like the videos, definitely drop a comment. I know how YouTube works. So I'm not going to tell you to like the video, because everyone's like, you're going to be thinking I'm trying to make money and shit. Well, that's totally not the case. But, definitely leave me a comment, because I don't want to see that like, because it just tells me, I'll take it, but it just tells me somebody's watching, and that's great. But I would love to even more hear, what you guys would want me to talk about, like movie-wise, or review maybe for beer, or like if you want me to go hiking somewhere like that's close to me, or anything like that. Maybe like some ideas for something to do that that you guys would like to see, because I think that would be cool. I want to do stuff that you guys like, but to a certain extent. I'm not gonna do stupid shit like a lot of these YouTubers do, like the challenges and stuff like that. Especially not drinking challenges. I'm past that kind of point in my life right now. At this point, I'm not trying to be involved in drinking very extremely heavily like that. At least not on a even weekly basis, to be honest with you. I was mentioning before, October is my birthday, and Halloween's like my favorite time of the year. It's almost a little bit bittersweet this year because I'm turning 25, quarter century. That's crazy to me. That's like, my friend was telling me like the other night, he's like, that's quarter of the way through, if you're lucky. I was like, yeah, that's like a miracle, right? If a miracle happens right there, that you're a quarter of the way through. Well, maybe it could be half, So not to be morbid or anything, but just it's crazy. I can still remember, being a little kid and stuff. I still live in the same town I've lived in all my life. So it's like so many memories and stuff that I see. It's like time just seems to pass by, slow every day, but quick when you take a look back at it, which is really crazy to me how that shit works. It's like fucking, I don't know, it's insane. So I can't believe I'm going to be 25, but time marches on. It just keeps going, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just gotta sit back and enjoy the ride, as long as you got something to enjoy. That is, but I can't wait for the winter. Honestly, now that I have this hobby, I used to just despise the winter time, and I can't. When I was skateboarding, I couldn't skateboard. I have to go to pay to skate inside all the time at the skate park, which we don't even have in my town anymore. We don't even have an indoor park. I think there's only like one in my entire state, which is insanity. So skateboarding's out of the picture. Hiking I can still do, but it's kind of hard to find the motivation to go out there when it's so freezing and you got to drive up, and you get really freaking cold, and then you can't make a fire because everything's covered in snow, and it gets annoying. And then it's just nothing you can do outside. So now that I got this hobby, it's something that I enjoy doing. This new YouTube thing, I'm gonna definitely just put up videos, all the time in the winter. Maybe you film multiple ones in one day, put out more than one in one day, or kind of save up, stack them up, because I just enjoy doing it, and I got nothing better to do really in the winter time except for just smoke with whoever decides to come chill, or wherever I'm going to chill. But other than that, it's not really. I don't live like too much of a crazy kind of lifestyle anymore. I kind of just work and either go home or go to friends' houses, or go to a party or something, and that's about it. Not really involved in anything crazy, super crazy anymore. So it's kind of like not boring, but in the wintertime it can get boring. But now in the summertime, I'm out doing shit all the time outside, 24/7. To be honest, after this video's over, I could go out and take a night hike on a private trail that I kind of got mapped out, by my property that I go to at night. That can take me up to a farm field right now, and just be looking out down my whole road off the highest point on the road, and just go smoke out there. I love doing shit like that. Love it. In the wintertime, it's always hard, and then the snow hits. God, it just makes driving and stuff just so annoying, and just nerve-wracking every time you go out, because that your car could be totaled at pretty much any second, because the people out here in New Jersey and New York, they expect, if you got somewhere to go, you got somewhere to go. But if they don't get their shit together and start plowing the roads, you're not going to be going anywhere without ending up in a ditch. And let me tell you something, these people do not really care about doing the roads too well. They take their sweet time with it, believe me. I know quite a few people who've plowed for the state, and I've heard some stories. And I've heard stories of people blocking people's driveways in, like they don't like workers for the state. These people don't give a fuck. They're the only ones that can get around on the road because they're driving in a 10-ton snow plow. They're good, but everyone else on the road's not good. So it's just so annoying to get anywhere. Even you're just trying to go buy some beer so you can relax in your house, or nothing else to fucking do, and you can't even get to the store. You can't even go get food. It's just so annoying. If the power goes out, I mean, that's just a nightmare too, because then now you're stuck in the snow. You can't go outside. You don't even have internet. You got nothing to watch. So thank God for the physical copies, though, right? Because you could hook it up. You could hook, if you have a generator, you could hook that, up your Blu-ray or your TV. You could still watch movies, but you can't hook up your Wi-Fi again, can you? Not if that shit goes out. So, like we were saying in another podcast, just a little thumbs up for physical media there. We're coming up right on an hour. This is literally perfect timing. We're going to recap, and that's going to be it. So we did our beer review. We talked about 2 movies. We talked about The Disappointments Room. We talked about Darling, and we also talked a little bit about the Willies, which I got last week. We also smoked a blunt of OG Kush. Well, we didn't even finish it, but I'll get to finishing that in a minute. Kind of want to save that and rewatch this podcast over and roll another one, because I feel like I was doing a little bit better in this one. I don't know, it just wasn't as all over the place, I don't think, because I had my notes. But we'll see how the audio and everything looks when I rewatch it. But I will probably upload this tonight. It'll be Monday, very early morning, I'll be uploading it. But what else do we do? Talk about that hike that I'm gonna go film. A little bit of where it is, because it was kind of cool. It was like almost like a campsite. This one area that I passed, all these benches, and there was like a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think we've pretty much covered everything for this podcast. If you guys watch it and check it out, if you can, please leave a comment and let me know if you guys liked it. If you'd like me to do more of them, if you like this format, or if you just like the bullshit and go off, or if you want me to have anybody else on here to hang out. I don't really know how many of my friends would really be down with getting on the internet at this point in their life right now, with some of the things that people are involved with. So we would have to see about that, but we could maybe get a couple people on here. Maybe we could get some girls on here at some point and do some shots of Henny or some shit. We'll see. I'm sure we could get somebody in the course of the next few months to come on here and do something, whether it's just a little review of a movie. Maybe we'll watch a movie and review it, right after, or we'll just drink and just bullshit about stuff, about movies or beer, just talk, whatever. But I would like to kind of follow a format, to be honest with you. Because it's just better for me. Like, I can keep things going in a smooth, direction, and not have to worry about people just going off on like just crazy tangents, which I do sometimes. But if I'm following a schedule and I have other things to get to, it'll be easier. So I think I'm going to do something like that. But I'll switch up maybe the different things, categories, throughout it. But yeah, so definitely comment and let me know if you guys liked it. Like I said, next beer review will probably be Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA. We'll probably film a beer review for that. And then we'll do a hiking video this week. And then a week from tonight, whenever I upload this, I guess Monday it'll be uploaded, we'll have another podcast coming out. I don't know what to call it. I guess we'll call it a Big Smoke Podcast, probably. Smokers Talk, I don't know, something crazy like that. We'll figure it out when I go to put the video on YouTube after I watch it to make sure it's good. But yeah, so also I fucked up a couple times in the last video. If you guys watched the full thing, you could probably catch me saying some things I shouldn't have said. It's whatever. There's nobody watching these first few ones, so it'll be just like something that's a certain amount of people know, I guess. I could always take it down if I start to get big. I'll take that video down or something, but fuck it. I said a couple things in there. I didn't say anything today. But I realized when I was watching it back that I fucked up a couple times, but I was also pretty stoned. All right, guys. With that being said, damn, I'm ripping through this pen pretty quick. Holy shit. With that being said, I'm going to sign out here. And we will see you for the next beer review, or the next movie review, or the next podcast, whatever comes our way. Should be a beer review probably, though.